Welcome back, viewers. I want to talk about the monster manual for D&D 5th edition. There are some really cool things that have been added to it, but first I'm going to talk more about the layout rather than what has been added to it. It's very neat and elegant. The monsters have entries detailing lore about the creature and their temperaments. Some monsters even have a couple of pages on them, which is really nice. The stat block is not confusing, and it's also very neatly organized, as I've said kind of before. A good example of this being the Chimera, or Chimera. I've heard a few people say it like that, so I don't know. But here's what the Chimera looks like, or Chimera, as I personally say it. Pretty good rendition of it. But to just give you an example, I'll read the creature's layout here. Chimeras were created after mortals summoned Demogorgon to the world, the prince of demons. Unimpressed with the creatures that surrounded it, transformed them into horrific multi-headed monstrosities. This act gave rise to the first chimeras. Gifted with demonic cruelty, a chimera serves as a grim reminder of what happens when demon princes find their way to the material plane. A typical specimen has the hindquarters of a large goat, blah blah blah, describes the physical aspects of the chimera. But then it goes into its personality. It is a conflicted creature. A chimera combines the worst aspects of its three parts. Its dragon head drives it to raid, plunder, and accumulate a great hoard. Its eonine nature compels it to hunt and kill powerful creatures that threaten its territory. Its goat head grants it a vicious, stubborn streak that compels it to fight to the death. These three aspects drive a chimera to stake out a territory that is large as 10 miles wide. It preys on wild game, viewing more powerful creatures as rivals to be humiliated and defeated. And then it goes on about what its greatest rivals are, and then it also says it's servant of evil, that I'll go into later if I do anything about these chimeras or any other monsters in a series, perhaps. But I'll just leave it for you to figure that stuff out. Alright, so the introduction that is in the book is very nice as well. It basically just details what a monster is, their environments for believable world building, how to read the stat blocks, and what the different types are of each monster, so on and so forth. And basically, I'll just read. It says, where do monsters dwell? If you are new to D&D, blah, 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 blah. And it says dungeons, the Underdark, the wilderness, towns and cities, underwater. And under each one, it lists like 5 to 6 examples. Actually, I think there's just 5 in each one of locations that are similar to these things. The planes of existence, you know. And then, of course, it goes into type of monster. There's aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, giants, humanoids, monstrosities, oozes, plants, and undead. Those are the various types of creatures that are in this book. And the art is amazing as well. Well, most of it is. There's a few pictures in here that are just kind of dopey looking. I wonder if they made the art for those creatures first and then put it in. I don't know what happened, but some of the pictures aren't as great. But for the majority, this book is amazing art-wise. Just about every page has some type of artwork on it until you get into the more mundane creatures, such as hawks, frogs, bears, horses, dogs, things like that. For those, you just get a simple stat block. Alright, so now what's been added to this iteration of Monster Manual? Lairs. That's right. If a creature is a legendary creature, it will probably have a lair. And there are lair actions. See, one of my favorite favorite monsters is the Beholder. It's just really cool, and it's a classic D&D character. Monster, I did it again. Anyways, it comes back into the forefront of being a very formidable enemy. In 4th edition, they were so-so. I didn't really like them in 4th edition. But in 5th, they get their own lair. And if you want them to have one, of course. And I'll just give you an example of what a lair may look like. I'm reading you the Death Tyrant's lair, but Beholders have a whole nice segment on them. Very nice. So, actually, I'll just read the Beholder lair. So, a Beholder's central lair is typically a large, spacious cavern with high ceilings where it can attack without fear of closing to melee range. A Beholder encountered in its lair has a challenge rating of 14, so it's 1 up from the normal 13. Alright, so lair actions. When fighting inside its lair, a Beholder can invoke the ambient magic to take lair actions. On initiative count 20, if a character has initiative count 20, the character goes first. The PC goes first. Because it loses initiative to characters. Losing on initiative ties. So on initiative count 20, the Beholder can take 1 lair action to cause one of the following effects, which are a 50-foot square area of ground within 20 feet of the Beholder becomes slimy. That area is difficult terrain until initiative count 20 on the following round. Another action. Walls within 120 feet of the Beholder sprout grasping appendages until initiative count 20 on the round after next. Each creature of the Beholder's choice that starts its turn within 10 feet of such a wall must succeed a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, or you will become grappled. Pretty cool, but this last one's the coolest, I think. Alright, the last one. An eye opens on a solid surface within 60 feet of the Beholder. 1 random eye ray of the Beholder shoots from that eye at the target of the Beholder's choice that it can see. The eye on the wall then closes and disappears. To kind of balance these, the Beholder can't repeat an effect until they've all been used. So you have to do each one before they reset, and by round 4, you can start doing them again. That's pretty cool. And then there's regional effects, such as in the Beholder's case. Creatures within 1 mile of the Beholder's lair sometimes feel as if they're being watched when they aren't. When the Beholder sleeps, minor warps in reality occur within 1 mile of its lair, and then vanish 24 hours later. Marks on cave walls might change subtly. An eerie trinket might appear where none existed before. Harmless slime might coat the surface of a statue. So on and so forth. Which is really, really cool. And, of course, there's others that get their lairs, like dragons and krakens and such. If your favorite monster doesn't have a lair, is your story and world, make up a lair. You can just use an existing lair for to use as a springboard into new ideas of your own. And keep in mind that lairs increase the difficulty rating, or the challenge rating, by 1. So it is harder to face a creature in their lair because of these cool effects. And there's also many various rules and add-ons in small green boxes on various pages. One such spot is not so much of a variant, but a quick what if. This what if is player characters as vampires. That's right. Player characters as vampires. If a PC has the unfortunate luck of being turned into one, which is pretty cool. Alright guys, so have you ever been in a town being populated by random people? Of course you have. And a character starts a fight with one of them for some reason, you don't know why. And now you've got to make up a stat block for some nobody and give them all types of weird stuff, you know, find out their equipment. Not so much anymore. Now there are NPCs added in the monster manual, from priests, the bandits, mages, the nobles, cult followers, and more. Let's just take a look at them real quick. Here's just 2 pages of them. You know, there's the priest, noble, scout, spy. There's also assassins in here, acolytes, archmages, gladiators, druids, berserkers, commoners, cultists, acolyte, assassins, bandits. You know, anything that you could possibly want. Of course, there's maybe not a specific thing like a blacksmith. Just use a commoner for that, obviously. Maybe boost up their strength by 1. I don't know. But you have a base stat block to go off, and it's really awesome. Alright guys, so that's the monster manual, a quick overlook of what was added and the layout of it. Yeah, go out there, get your own monster manual if you're a DM, and have fun. Thanks for watching, guys.